Just want to do a video here on my windmill system. I have windmill / solar now, and all the struggles I've been through, and maybe some of the ideas I've had that might help some other guys out here. So up here you can see I have three mills. The high one and the second highest one here, the smaller one, those are Chevy Delco 10SI alternators with they're like converted into PMAs. Those are Missouri Wind and Solar blades on there. You can see I have a different arrangement, but they're both 6-blade. Staggering a 6-bladed like that on a 9-blade actually has an earlier startup. The reason I did that is all I had was a 9-blade hub, and actually I find being it's a lower tower and it's shielded by the wind from this other tower, it actually, a lot of times it'll actually start before the higher one will. There's about an 8-foot difference there. The big one in the back I'll get to here shortly. I want to show, first of all, this one tower here is just on a pipe, and it's just greased with a pipe inside a pipe. Works good. A little bit of vibration, you get that growly noise on low wind, and then some support cables, of course. That one's a little trickier to stand. It's kind of the one you want to stand up and leave alone. And it's just wild AC coming down an extension cord and into the back of the shop there. Nice mess of wires. Up here, basically the same design, 6-blade on an old TV antenna. I mounted these ones on bearings, you can see them, and the problem with that is it turned too easy, way too easy, and it'd yaw. So there's actually a brake up there. So if you mount them on bearings, make sure you make some way to put some resistance on it. Other than that, it worked great. This tower here, actually, with all my trial and errors and struggles I've had, which have been many, I actually mounted it up to a winch that basically just ties to the shop, up to the tower, and then I just have an old truck battery there to operate it, and it actually pivots on hinges and secures itself to the shop, so I can actually lay this thing down in a matter of minutes. I bet you 5 minutes, and she lays down into the yard here. So I just wanted to show that it's actually a good use for an old winch and an old car battery. And I just lagged her down into the concrete here, and it's proven well. It's stood up to some pretty heavy duty winds, so it's much better than the pipe style one, although the pipe is obviously easier to get a hold of, and just a matter of lagging in some bolts and supporting it properly. I lifted it 6 feet higher here just recently, and what a difference. Height is everything. We're in a really dirty wind area here. Most of our wind comes out of the northwest or the west. It's not really set up for anything from the southeast, as I have trees in the way. I'll take you in the shop here and show you how this comes together here. So everything comes through this little hole in the wall here. Basically, right up to my rectifiers. I have a rectifier there, and one's in behind there. Control switches for each mill. Ammeter, voltmeter. Right now it's not windy, that's actually why I'm doing the video. That's just my voltage reading, and there's my ammeter. on a 30 to 40 kilometer wind, this gauge isn't even enough. It will bury itself. Things start to get a little warm, but that's when you have 3 windmills hooked up, and they get pretty aggressive. Got a mean shut off here. So actually it goes into this charge controller, which it's fairly primitive, but it does work. Basically, when the voltage gets too high, batteries are full. It kicks this solenoid in, which in turn actually, right now I just have it hooked up here, is a water heater element, a DC water heater element. And that keeps a load on the windmill so they're not freewheeling. I had it out in that water heater in the back, but it's going to freeze here pretty quick, so time to winterize everything. So basically all that goes down into my battery bank here, which is lacking used batteries. They are getting tired. I can get I'm not running everything off of wind energy by any means, but I do use them a lot just for lighting and whatnot. And that's a 12 volt battery bank, 4-6 volts in series and parallel. So someday I'll replace my battery bank, I think, but not right now, not till the system's completely perfected. But I want to get to I guess the point here is wind power, as you can see by my ammeter, is useless when there's no wind. So anyone attempting this is going to have to realize the wind doesn't blow all the time, and of course the sun doesn't shine all the time. So with a combination, I actually have some solar panels that I recently installed, and they actually come into the same charge controller, and they come in here and here. And of course when this receives high voltage, it simply disconnects them, and then the wind actually comes through these terminals here, and it physically changes the load over to my water heater, simply because you don't want your windmills freewheeling, and of course a solar panel can't freewheel. So it's a fairly simple setup. It took a lot of trial and error. The one thing I am lacking right now, you see these white wires hanging, that's actually my brake for the 2 bigger windmills. There's another rectifier over here, and you literally twist those wires together to bring her to a stop, and there are times when you'll want to do that. So I find myself making too much power when the wind is strong, and obviously not enough when the wind is light. So obviously I added in the solar panels. They are working great. They are not wired into this ammeter, as the windmills pin that ammeter. So I need a bigger one. I need at least 100 amp. At any point on a windy day, you can get some pretty warm components going on here. You think you don't like even switches, so you burn those switches up. You got to find the good 20 amp switches, and even then they'll burn up. But so all of this basically, of course, runs into my pure sine power inverter, and as of now I just have the plugs in the top. It's not hardwired in or anything, and you turn her on there, screw in the light bulb, and there's your wind power light. But here, I'll do this. There. You can see the relationship between the inverter, obviously, and the light. A lot of scam out there trying to make you think something's happening when it's not. So, and this one here is just a second inverter. It's just a little 800 watt, whatever it might be. I just kind of wanted to show you. I've seen some videos on everything from guys giving certain PMAs a bad review. They'll say their volts are high and they have no amps and things like that. And I did want to mention your ammeter is your flow. Your volts is your potential difference. If your PMA is not putting out any amps, that's because it's not drawing. You're not getting any flow, which means generally you're not hooked up to a load. So with that being said, I've seen a few videos mocking certain companies for their piece of crap PMAs. But what they did is they're open-ending these PMAs, and they're wondering why they're getting no amps on it. And that's why. So it's kind of underselling whatever product it might have been. And I just kind of wanted to mention that. The one other thing I want to mention is batteries. You can never overdo your batteries. Yeah, this is a $300 battery, and trust me, there's a pretty good reason why. Car batteries, not a chance. They're not meant for the long duration. They're just meant for quick starts and quick charges. So that's the one thing I did learn. I was trying to charge truck batteries, and you just get no endurance out of them. So I'll take you outside, show you that other mill, which is actually my best producer now, and they're all producing very well. See if I can get a shot without the sun here. So this particular one is actually home built by a guy I know, not far from here. Amazing design. It's a downwind mill, and I recently purchased those blades, and that thing is crazy. When she's my first mill to start up, it's the lowest mill. It's on the roof here. We've got lots of trees, and you would not believe the power this thing generates when it is windy. Quite happy with it. I'm very happy as well with the PMAs I got from, actually I just bought the guts for them from Missouri. And a lot of people have fun things to say about them. Personally, as long as the product works, I could give a crap. And over there I have a solar bank of just two 245 watt panels, and right now they just run up this wire here and into the shop as well. They tie onto that same solar bank. Also testing a solar hot water heater at the moment, and I'll maybe take you over there and show you that in a minute. But just kind of wanted to share with you what I've learned from everyone on YouTube and various other places, and maybe some of this will help some guys out. Thanks.